Hi everybody, I'm back. We've lost internet a few minutes ago when I started my live stream, so I'm back now to see if this makes any difference. I'm so sorry. I don't know whether it was my internet that crashed or whether it was Facebook that crashed, but one of them crashed about 3 minutes into my live stream. I'm so sorry. I apologise, but there's absolutely nothing I can do. Hey Patricia, we must be live because you can see me. I hope everybody else that was on hops over here now. So I'll just chat for a second till Carol. Oh, hey, I'm so glad that a few people have found. I don't know what happened. It's a technical issue, and when those sorts of things happen, what do? You just have to roll with the punches, as they say. I hope. I'm just looking at my computer now. Just excuse me for 1 second, just so that I can see that they can see. I'll just refresh my computer. Okay, so if anybody that wasn't watching before that's watching now, what I was saying was I'm creating this morning this dear little mixed media. Chrissy Williams, you found me, Dale. Susan's, yeah, great. We're doing this little mixed media plaque for round 2, take 2, as they say. Again, I humbly apologise. So what's slightly different about this to a normal canvas is it's kind of like a little double-decker one, as you can see there. So what I did, I put a little one on top of a bigger one, like this. So I've got my bigger one, which is, I'll give you the measurements, it's roughly, I'll talk in inches, it's roughly 5.5 by 9.5, and the little one is nearly 3.5 by about 8. So what I'm doing is I'm just going to stick one on top of the other. So before we get started, I'll put the camera down to the table and just hope to heck that I don't lose you all again. Please bear with me if we do. Okay, so we'll go down to the table, and I'll just spin you around there. Now I'll have a look at my computer to see what you can see, and it's telling me nothing. My internet is still down by the look of it. Can you grab my iPad and go to Messenger, please? I don't know what you can see because I'm absolutely flying blind here. Normally when I'm doing a live stream, I watch what you're watching. I watch it at the same time on my laptop, which is next to me, so that I can see what you see. But it's saying that the content is not available. Oh, here we've got, okay, so I think this is it, 3 minutes ago, so that must be it. Okay, right, so I can see what you're seeing now, so I'll just move you over slightly so that you're in focus. So it would have been much easier for me to have just stuck 2 canvases together, but of course, you know, that wasn't to be. We're in lockdown here. I live about an hour and a half north of Sydney, and I'm not free just to go shopping. So what I did here to make my little canvases, I got some really thick cardboard that I had in my garage where I'd had a big cane bed head delivered, and I covered it in white cardstock. I figured in lockdown, when you haven't got access just to go shopping and so forth, that's the next best thing. So that's what I've done. I've also clear gessoed it. Now you must gesso first so that you can spread your colour around. That's the Art Basics gesso that I've used, because what the gesso will do is act as a primer, so it makes whatever you put on it adhere, but it also acts like a sealer, so which is important because that way when we add our colour we can spread it all around. So I've did these last night and I have clear gessoed them already, so I don't have to bore you doing that and drying it off. So I'll just move that out of the way now. and we will do some stenciling now. So actually what I'll do is I'll stick them together first. Over here, I'll stick those together first, I think, before I stencil. So I'll get some little, again, I want to make it nice and 3D, so I'll get some little bits of cardboard to use there, and I'll get my trusty cordless glue gun. Oh, I love this cordless glue gun, so I don't have to be attached to power. I'm just going to put some little pieces of cardboard just along that edge there, which will elevate this smaller piece of canvas, well, pretend canvas. As I said, ideally it'd be better to get a canvas, but I didn't have that luxury when we're in lockdown. I don't know why we're in lockdown. We where I am on the central coast of New South Wales, we don't have any cases up here at all, but they've lumped us in with Sydney, with Greater Sydney, who does. So anyway, it is what it is. There's nothing we can do about that. So I want that littler canvas, in inverted commas, to hang off the edge. So I'm just sticking that down for a moment. Remembering, of course, I have clear gessoed it last night. If you don't, for the girls that are newer at mixed media, and if you don't have a clear gesso, may I suggest you shout yourself some, or you put it on your wish list. Honestly, I probably use that on 2 out of 3 projects. It's just a really good thing to have. Applies, it is clear, so you know when you put it on you don't see it. And if you put that over a pattern paper, for instance, because you want to add a little bit of mixed media, it doesn't detract from the colour or the pattern. Whereas if you put white gesso on, that would camouflage some of the pattern. So that's a must. So that's that. So I've already done that to save you having to be bored while I dry it. And I'm going to use Finnabair's tapestry stencil to stencil today. Now this is my most favourite stencil at the moment. I'm a bit obsessed with it. I'm using it on absolutely everything. I've got all these other beautiful stencils, but this is the one I keep coming back to. So I'll put that there. Now what I didn't just use normal texture paste. I used this, again, it's a Finnabair product, and it's out of the Art Extravagance collection, which is all under the Prima umbrella. It's paper texture paste. So it gives a really gorgeous, like a handmade paper effect for all intents and purposes. So I'm just going to move that over a little bit, I think, so that I'm more centered. Yeah, so it looks and feels like normal texture paste, but when it dries, it has this really beautiful handmade paper effect. Right, so I'm going to put my stencil on. Now, one of my pet hates, and if you've ever done any of my classes, because I also teach scrapbooking and mixed media, or if you've ever, done any of my live streams or tutorials online, you'll know I always say, don't just cover the whole stencil so that you get a complete grid of stenciling. What you want is little bits meandering in and out. So pay attention to what I'm doing here. So I'll put a bit up there. Gee, that's a lovely texture. It really is beautiful. I'll get a bit more. So I'm just meandering in and out with that. I don't want it everywhere. And then while it's there, I will just lift it and just have a little sticky beat. We'll put a little bit more in the middle there. A little bit up the top. How's that look and die? Let's have a look. Yeah, I think that's okay. We'll lift that up. And that's the sort of effect that I'm after. Can you see that? I'll just lift it up closer to the camera. Can you see the way it's not completely covered, it just meanders in and out. And now I will put some on the little piece. Not that we see a lot of the little piece, but around the edges we will see some. there. Oh, it's such a beautiful texture, this. Now, as I said, I'm not worrying too much about the middle of that because that's going to be totally covered. I'll just pop those away. Be sure to rinse your stencils out straight away, guys, because otherwise they will be ruined. Now, that's what I've done there. I don't know if you can see that up close and personal. I hope you can. Okay, so I've missed bits and done bits and it wavers around. Now, instead of you having to wait while I dry that, I have done one last night. So here's one I prepared earlier, as they say on the cooking shows. So I'll now add some lovely watercolours to this and we'll work on this one. Okay, so the watercolours that I'm using for my background today are a mixture of two different colours of, how beautiful are these? It's Art Philosophy again, under that banner, and they're called Metallic Accents. They are watercolours, but they're the most beautiful, beautiful, creamy, metallic, shimmery. Oh, they're lovely, 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 lovely. If you've not used watercolours before, as the name implies, they're water-based and they're activated by water. So, obviously you have to use water with them. Now, I'll just get a brush. I'll get some water. Now, I'm going to spray my canvas lightly with water. Remember, because we've clear gessoed that, the water's not going to penetrate into it, so that won't hurt it at all, and it'll help spread our colour. So I've used a mixture of these two, which is the pale blue and the pale green. So I just wanted to get the exact right colour to match my flowers. So I'm just going to brush a little bit on and we'll work it a bit more as we go. Oh, and when this dries, it's so beautiful and shimmery. Okay, and that paper paste has got cracks and little nooks and crannies in it. Oh, it's lovely, and all the colour seeps into it. I'll put a bit up here. Now, this I didn't have the exact colour of the flowers, which is why I've mixed the two different colours, and that works beautifully. You know, you can mix anything that's made out of the same type of stuff. Like, in other words, it's water-based, so of course you can mix it. I wouldn't mix something that was water-based with something oil-based because that wouldn't work. But by mixing the blue and the green together, that's a bit heavy in the blue, so we'll just add a bit of water, which obviously dilutes it and tones it all down. So it's not perfect, and that's the way we want it. Give me some comments, ladies. Tell me what you're thinking. Do you like it? Do you like these watercolours? I love watercolours. They're one of my favourite colouring mediums. They just look so pretty. And now I'm going to hit that with a bit more water in a minute because I want to dilute it a little bit. I don't want it too dark. See, now I couldn't spray all that water on there if that wasn't gessoed first. I mean, in this case, I probably could have used white gesso. But if you were doing this on something coloured, of course you couldn't. Now, I'll just grab a baby wipe and I'll just blot that all up. Some of the excess. Always have a baby wipe next to me when I'm doing projects like this so I can mop it all up. So that's virtually what we're doing. Now, which way do I need to move over? This way. So that's our background. It's just a simple little canvas. As I said, if you had it already pre-bought canvas, which would be all of about $3, that would be so much easier. But hey, when you're in lockdown, you've got to make do with what you have, don't you? So I'm going to put that aside for a few minutes while I now start to work on the chipboard. but if you you want to check these colours out, I just make myself a little sample swatch there. That's them there. They're metallic accents, and they're on the Prima site under Art Philosophy. 12 beautiful, super metallic, shiny watercolours. Okay, so that's those. I'll put those aside, and I'll put my little canvas aside, and we'll come back to that. Okay, so now we're going to work on our chipboard pieces. I'll just get some scrap paper. Sorry, my husband's being my assistant today. He's drawing off for me in between times so I don't have to bore you. So he's never dried anything before, so he's just brought it into me and showed me more or less with a look on his face as, oh my goodness, have I done that right? So are we liking everything so far, ladies? I haven't seen anybody's comments. Bronwyn, hi Bronwyn, how are you, lovey? Angela, you like those colours? Yeah, so do I, Angela. Janice, I'm so glad you could all watch along. Right, so this is the chipboard. All my chipboard I've base coated in white gesso. I did that last night. I mean, everybody knows how to sponge on a bit of white gesso. But now I'm going to put some crackle paste on them. Where are we? Crackle paste, that's this one. Again, that's all under that Art Extravagance banner. You'll find that. On my blog, I have, I've done a post on this, and at the end of the blog post is a full product list with all the numbers and everything, so that will make it easier to find. And I think Nathalie is on here moderating for us, and she's probably typing the numbers up as well. So I'm just going to get a little bit of this out. As you can see, I use heaps of this, and I can't find a spatula. Where's a spatula when you need one? Just get a blob of this out. Now, I just put this on with my finger. Chris, I'll need you to do bodied assistant some instructions. So all I'm doing there is, hang on, I come back to it so I can see what you're seeing. All I'm doing is blobbing that on with my finger. So it's nice and rough and textured, because at the end of the day, that's what we want to create, some really nice texture. And if I put it on with a spatula, it wouldn't be as nice and textured and sort of messy, I suppose you could say, because that's definitely what we're after. So you can see, just real rough. You don't want it to be perfect. Okay, and I just keep blobbing that on around the edges. It's a bit awkward on the finer parts, I know, but hey, it's all good. Okay, sorry about the technical difficulties before. I know quite a few of the girls have had technical difficulties of late. As I said earlier, I don't know if it's Facebook or I don't know if it's Mr. Internet, who knows. But anyway, at least we're back now. I'm sure though half the ladies that were watching have probably wondered where the heck we've gone to. But anyway, nothing we can do about that. And we've nearly finished that piece. So I just want it to be really, really rough. You could do this just with ordinary texture paste too. It doesn't have to be the crackle one. I just particularly... Now I'll lift that up. When you ever do anything like this on a scrap paper, before it dries, be sure to lift it and move it, because otherwise it will stick. Yeah, that's good enough. Hang on, I'll just put a tiny little bit more there. All right. So that's that. And what else have we got? We've got to do some little flourishes. If you look at the side of the picture on the canvas, I've done some little flourishes as well. So I'll just spoon that back in. Gee, I have to shout myself another one of those shortly. Getting low. But the good thing about those is, gee, they last forever. I mean, because a little bit goes such a long way. So that's the Art Extravagance texture paste. So I'll just move that out of the way. And put that out of the way. Now we'll move on to our little, we've got 2 little flourishes, and I've also got some little pieces of foliage. Now on my sample one, I had used chipboard, but I didn't have any spares. So I just die cut them out of Prima's watercolored paper. It's this is a pad with A4 watercolored paper, and it is 300 GSM, which is quite thick, really thick actually. I think cardstock is about 300 GSM, so that gives you an indication. And it just is lovely when you use watercolor paper with watercolors. It's beautiful. So I die cut those out of that. So I have used some white gesso on my little flourishes, because being chipboard you need to base coat them first. Now I'm going to colour them up with some Woodlands. This is the Woodlands watercolour confections. You can see I'm a bit obsessed with watercolours. I think I have just about the whole lot of them now. So that's the Woodlands. And when you look at the colours there, you think, doesn't look that spectacular. But when you use them and you see the colours that they really are, well, there's my little colour swatch. They're all the colours in the Woodlands collection. Really practical colours that you'll use a lot. So I am now just going to, now which one did I use? I don't know which one I used. What colour did I say I used? Flourishes number 24 Tiki, which was the really dark, no, Tiki Brown. Is that it? Hang on, just let me get my bearings. That's not, Woodlands was the scissors, you duffer dying. I can be such a duffer sometimes. It's this one. It's the Tropicals. Gorgeous colours, a real good selection of colours in Tropicals. That's the colour swatch there. So some brights and some browns and some dark greens. So that's really good. Okay, so I'm using the brown, which I think, hang on, I just check this. I think that's that one. Let me see. Yes, that's that brown. So all I'm doing is a brush, big soft fat brush, some water, and blob that on there. And the beauty of watercolours, you don't have to be really perfect and precise. You just blob him on, because it's not supposed to be perfect. Lucky, hey? Because it's not. And we'll do this little guy. I am going to have to get my heat gun out in a minute. My poor husband, he's never dried anything in his life with a heat gun, and I've dragged him into drying things for me on the sidelines. But I need to dry this because I'll probably need to add a little bit more. So while that's there, I might also do the fern leaves. Now the fern leaves were out of the currants one. Which one was currants? This one. That's the currants, and that's the colour swatch that I've made to go with that. So you can see lots of beautiful blues and greens. And I'm going to use algae, number 142 out of that one. So let me get this. I think it's that gorgeous green there. Anybody that knows me well knows that I'm a bit of a green freak, and I love. So I'm using a mixture of 2 different greens here. I mean, you can see how simple that is. There's nothing technical or hard about that, is there? Die cut leaves out of watercolour paper, blobbed on with some watercolour paint and a bit of little bit of water, and just lovely. But I will put a second coat of a different colour on to achieve the colour that I want. But that's the beauty of watercolours. It doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, so that's only very pastel. So we'll layer up the colour. So I'm going to just dry, you'll have to bear with me, dry those off. It'll only take a moment. While I'm drying, I'll have a look at some of your comments. Alana said they're really nice palettes. Yeah, they are, Alana, aren't they? They're really beautiful colours. I started off with one, and then I got another, and then I got another, and, you know, before you know it, you're obsessed and you've got the whole collection. So I just dry that off a little bit. It doesn't have to be totally dry. When you see the effect of how these look when they're finished, I mean, they really are lovely. Okay, that's probably dry enough because we do have to do a second coat on them anyway. So I'll just do a little bit more brown, just to build up that colour a little tiny bit. And now for the second coat on the leaves, I used parrots, number 16 parrots, and that was in the tropicals, which I think, I can't remember which one it was now. Hang on, bear with me. No, that's not that one. That's not that one. Is it that one? I can't remember what one it was. Never mind, doesn't really matter, does it? As long as it's nice and green. And I am, when these are dry, I am going to put some aged brass wax paste on there, which just brings them to life. I mean, those wax pastes are just beautiful. They really are. They give it a real opulent look and add lots of depth, and yeah, I love them. Okay, so they're all pretty right now, I think. So I'll dry that off. Sorry, I have to dry in between time, ladies. What are you saying, Angela? Can see watercolours making my CC credit card look sad. Yeah, well, that's how I felt too, Angela. Yeah. And Alana said, but your heart will be so happy. Yes, that's absolutely right, Alana. Nathalie just wrote from Prima that they're only 4 3/4 inch by 2 3/4 inch, so they're just a real compact little box. I mean, that's, you know, if you're going on a crop or you're going, you know, scrapping with some friends, they're easy. You can throw a couple of sets of those in your bag, and yeah, you've still got plenty of room for all your other goodies. Keep giving me some comments, girls, because I'm having trouble seeing everything when I'm working, but when I'm drying, I've got a moment that I can have a quick squizzy. Okay, then we can start, pardon me, on our scissors. And wait till you see those, they'll look lovely. Okay, so that's sort of semi-dry. I'll put that aside now while we do our scissors, and then we can start construction. That's the fun part, the construction. So this is the scissors here. You can see there. I mean, really, I let my original ones dry naturally, which is always better. These ones were dried by heat gun, so I don't think it's ever as good as if you let anything that's crackly dry. It's better if you let it dry naturally. So for my scissors, I've used Woodlands dark brown, which is, that's Woodlands, isn't it? Yes, I think it is, yes. And that's the dark brown. Okay, so we're nearly finished the watercolours, so bear with us a little bit longer. No, wrong colour dye, wrong colour. It's hard to see what the colour is when it's just in the little block. That's all right because it's gessoed and you can just wipe that off. I think it's down here. Is it this one? Let me see. No, that's green. Which one is it? Which one is it? Is it brown? I'm not sure which is the brown I used. Might go over and use that one. I know that one's a good one. Yeah, we'll just use that. That'll do. Doesn't have to be exact. But I don't want it too dark, so I'm going to apply this quite conservatively. But this will come alive once we put the wax paste on. That's what really brings it to life. I can't find the colour I used, but it doesn't matter. It's all good. Okay, so I wanted these to look a bit like rusty scissors, so I'm quite happy with that. I'll just move that water out the way, wipe that down, and we'll give that a dry off. You need those scissors, Angela. Yeah, that's what I did too. I didn't have any metal scissors to do. So I had my good friend Vanessa at Too Crafty make them up for me because, yeah, I thought, oh, I don't have any metal scissors. And because we're in lockdown, I couldn't go to a second-hand store and find any. Yeah, I just had to improvise. Hey, you got to do what you got to do, don't you, girls? I'll just give that a dry off. Wait till you see how beautiful they look with the wax. Oh, they just look so good. I'll just move these out of the way while I'm drying. I think out of all the art products, I'm probably the most obsessed with the watercolours and the wax paste. They seem to be my go-to products all the time. See, with the watercolour palettes too, they have a little fold-out shelf, so if you have to mix colours, which we often do, you've got a little paint palette to mix it on, and I wipe it off, close it up, and pop it back in the box. Okay, we'll deal with that later. Nearly done. Let's dry that a little bit more. Yeah, nearly done. Tell me what you're thinking, ladies. I hope you're liking my little project. Right, I think that's probably dry enough, I think. Okay, I'll put that there. Now I'll get my wax paste out. I've used the aged brass one, which is probably one of my most go-to ones. Finnabair now does all the wax paste in little tubes, which are brilliant because there's, you know, they're not going to dry out on you so it's easy and all that sort of thing. So they're the same beautiful paste, wax paste, but they're just in a tube now. And she also does some lovely matte ones as well, which no doubt you'll see around in various projects. But I've still got these, so I have to use them up. So I just, you know, apply this with my finger. And as soon as you put this on, it all comes to life and looks like metal. I mean, really, in the scheme of things, that was just a bit ordinary. But, I mean, look at it now. It's just coming to life so beautifully. We're nearly up to construction, putting all our pieces together. And you'll see how nice it looks when it comes together. Yeah, you would swear that was metal. It just looks so much like metal. If you've got any little bits that are hard to get into, you can grab a little brush and you can get into all your little grooves if you're in rough. Yeah, I need to do that. Oh my goodness, they look so nice. Okay, that's them. How gorgeous do they look? You would swear they were an old metal pair of scissors. Beautiful. Okay, so I'll just put them aside. Now, I've also used the wax paste on my leaves as well. I'll just put those down there. Again, they're a bit lolly lime for this project, I mean. But as soon as I put some of the wax paste on, they take on a whole new look. I mean, mixed media is wonderful. You can custom make everything to match whatever project you happen to be working on. And mixed media doesn't mean necessarily dark and grungy. It means a mixture of various mediums. Mediums being, you know, paints, waxes, various texture pastes. It's just a whole mixture of everything. And when you mix it all up, you get these gorgeous effects. See how nice they look now with that bit of that little bit of aged brass wax on them. The gold, one of the gold ones would be nice on that too. Or if your project was in silvers and that, they do lovely silvers and brushed iron and all those sorts of colours. And these are another product that just seem to last and last and last. I mean, I've had that probably for 2 years, and you can see I've still got heaps left. So the green just gave me a beautiful base, and then the wax paste finishes it off. Just spread that a bit. I'm a very use your fingers type of person, as you can tell. I like getting involved with my fingers. Oops, I just tore that one. That's okay. No problem. I'll probably be tearing it in a couple of parts to make it, to poke it in here and there. So there's our little foliage done. I'll just put the camera down so you can see that. Okay. And we've got our little flourishes done. Now I haven't put wax on those. I'll just pop them there. I love them. They're so beautiful. So that's the Art Alchemy metallic wax paste in aged brass. Okay, so that's what I've used there. Now I can get rid of this. So we've done our scissors, we've done our flourishes, we've done our fern leaves. Now, just to bring you up to speed, on my project, hang on, I'll grab this over and show you. On my little project, I've got a little thimble, I've got a half thimble, half a cotton reel, a needle threader, which the wires come out of, and an old bobbin. Okay, so what I did there, I just painted them all in a coat of white gesso, and then again I rubbed them over with that aged brass wax, metallic wax paste, just to give them a nice aged and vintage look. So I will also be, I did them actually I had to take them off the other canvas because I never had spares to use again, so that's why they're already coloured. Plus it saves a little bit of time. So, and they're the flowers that I used. I made this project up a while ago now, and these were very old. That was a very old Prima vine. But oh gee, I love it. I'm a bit obsessed with vines. I really, really, really like them. And they were another older Prima flower. I bet you've got some of those in your stash, girls. We used to love those back in the day. They're a craft coloured paper, but they're all Prima. And you know, lots of stores, you can still find them. They've got some older stock. Or if you look online, you could probably find them. But you could make this project with any flowers at all. So just let me clean my fingers a bit because they look pretty disgusting with everything on there, with crackle paste and wax paste, and I suppose it's all part of the fun, hey? Oh, so much for the manicure. So how are we going? Who's with me? I just pop it to my screen and have a quick look. We've got Alana, Christine, Michelle. Hi, Michelle. How are you? Haven't seen you for ages. Michelle used to come to my classes when I had my scrapbook shop. I had a scrapbook shop for 8 years, as you've all heard me say. Okay, so, oh gosh, he didn't do that. Dry that off very well. Husband was supposed to dry that. You can see he's never dried anything before. Where the heck? No, I don't know where he's put it. Anyway, no, all right. Well, I'll have to dry this. Just give me 1 minute while I dry it. I thought he was drying that for me. I thought you were drying this. No, it's a bit wet still. Never mind, that's okay. I'll chat to the girls while I'm drying it. I've also tied a little string bow out of some very fine string, and what I've used 4 strands of string to tie the bow. Then you get all those lovely, you know, lots and lots of curly ends. So that'll look nice, and that adds lovely texture and dimension to your project too. How are we going? What's Alana's just said, sorry, Alana's just said she found some, hang on Alana, I thought I just said you'd found some at scrapbook.com. Did I see that, or was it something else I saw? Yeah, but as I said, just look for those flowers. I'm sure there's plenty of stores that still have old stock. I love going through my stash and finding older things that, you know, things you forgot you had, and oldies but goodies. Look, that's still a little bit damp, but look, for the sake of the exercise, I'm not going to worry about it at this point in time. Okay. Right. So, our next thing, I'm going to just quickly do a tiny little bit of stamping on there with just an old script stamp that I've got to, I'm just using a grey archival ink there, just to add another bit of visual texture. Not much, just a little bit. It's a little bit hard to stamp on the texture paste, but hey, it doesn't have to be perfect. Just stamp. Now that's a grey ink I'm using, not black. If you use black, stamp it off first, and you know, so that you get just nice light images. A little bit down here. Notice I'm not using a block, and I'm only using a little bit of the stamp. We just want a little bit of visual texture, I suppose you could call it. So I'll put that over there. Okay, so I think we're up to pieces of corrugated. I'll just put my screen up later so I can see. Last night, for those that don't know, if you want to make the screen bigger so you can see more detail, down in the bottom of your screen, it usually is 2 little arrows pointing diagonally away. If you click on them, you'll get a bigger image. Or sometimes they're done like 2 half squares. If you click on that, it's usually down in the bottom corner. Okay, so I'm going to stick a piece of corrugated on there and another piece down here. Okay, so that's how that's going to be done. I'm going to use both my glue gun and I should come up a bit there, shouldn't I? And some ordinary glue as well. The hot glue will hold it until pop that on. Yeah, the hot glue will hold it until the other glue sets. So that just adds another layer. And I'm going to put another little piece down here in this corner. Okay, so our next thing we need, pardon me, is I stamped two tape measures. Have another go, do I? Tape measures. So, and I gessoed them, just they were black, and I wanted to tone them down to grey. So I've just gessoed them just to give it a bit of a whitewash type of effect. Wait a minute, I'll just tape that down. And this one, because with the scissors I thought I'd go with the whole sewing type of theme. And I want to stick them on so that, am I in camera shot there? I'm just double checking. I might go up a little bit further. Yeah, I want to stagger those, so I'll come out, come off. I'm just putting that there, and I'll put this one offset to it, probably up a little bit. Okay, so they're there. That needs to be stuck down a little bit more. Right, so our next layer will be a doily. I die cut just in white card. That's an older Prima doily die. I mean, I've got umpteen doily dies, but that is absolutely my most favourite one. And I come back to it all the time. Hang on, I just get rid of that so I keep a semi-tidy table. I'll put a couple of little bits of 3D foam on the back of that. So I've got my 3D foam there. Probably need to tilt that out a little bit, don't I? Is that better? Just a little bit. And I'll just do that. So I'm going to pop that probably about there. See, I'm 3Ding everything so that we get that lovely dimension. I mean, it's not going in a scrapbook album, so we can make it as dimensioned as we like. Okay, our next thing would be our beautiful, beautiful scissors. Oh, I love these. Hang on a minute, I'll just pull that off them. Where are the other pair? Here. Now, I'm probably going to have to stick them on with my glue gun because I need them to set straight away, so there to there. So I'll just, this cordless glue gun really comes into its own on when you're doing projects like this. My husband bought it for me because I asked for Christmas a couple of years ago. And I think I've told the story before, and I said, and I need a spare battery, which he bought very dutifully. I was very happy. And on Christmas Day, when I was throwing all the used gift papers out from everybody unwrapping their presents, I accidentally threw the spare battery out. So I had to go and buy another battery. Anyway, it is what it is. So that's where we're at this point. So now we need to start adding some of our flowers. So I've also used some sisal, which is this stuff. It's like, I think years ago when I was a child, they used to stuff mattresses with it. I think they call it sisal, S-I-S-A-L. And you only just pull a few little pieces off, just a couple of little pieces, and glue them on. And it just, again, it adds another really nice dimension to your project by adding that extra texture. So I'm just going to put a bit of that on. And I'll add another little bit over here. A little bit there. I mean, look at the tiny bit I'm using. You don't have to use much at all of that. I wish I knew where I could get some more because I'd like to use it in my kits. I sell a lot of my scrapbooking layouts as kits, and I'd like to use it, but I can't use it in my kits because I don't know where I can buy some more. So if anybody finds a place that's got it currently at the moment, send me a private message and tell me where I can get some more. So there's our sisal, messy little stuff. So now we can start adding our little flowers. Now these flowers came off the other project because I didn't have any more spare. So my husband's been pulling them off the canvas that I originally showed you. Hence they've still got their little bits of chipboard foliage stuck on them. So in case you're wondering how come that is, so I'll just put a bit of glue on there and we'll get started sticking this down. So we kind of went there roughly, and then this piece came down there. Yeah, don't forget guys, if anybody finds who's got that sisal at the moment, please private message me and tell me where I can get some more, because I would like to put that in some of my kits. What have we got there? Probably over a bit more, probably about there, I think. Yep, there. Okay, then we've got the little craft coloured flowers. So I'm putting one up here, the top here. Just tuck him in. And where else? I think I had one over this side, just to add some balance. So you really just see the scissors top and bottom. How nice do they look with that wax paste? Oh, I love that. And one down the bottom here. Oh, I think maybe down there. Yep, that's looking nice. I will put my little piece on down there. So that was the bit we took off the other one. It's a piece of the blue with a little bit of the brown flower on, the craft flower, and there is a little bit of foliage there. Sorry, but I didn't have any spare of those blue flowers left, so I had to recycle and take them off the other project. So that just adds a nice little bit of balance there. What else do we need to do? We need to add some more foliage and our little bits. How nice does that little cotton reel look? I love that. I mean, I don't know where I got that years ago, but I'm sure you could probably, you know, find some small cotton reels and get your husband to cut it in half. It just looks nice tucked in at the side of the cluster. And then this little guy, little half a thimble, I got my hubby to cut the thimbles in half for me. Little thimble down there. So I've created a whole little scissor theme, a whole little sewing theme I should say, to go with my scissors. An old bobbin. Pop him in up here somewhere maybe. Yeah, you can see him a bit better there. Oh, I haven't put my flourishes on yet either. And the needle threader. I'll put him down there this time so he's a bit more visible. Now I need to pop my flourishes in. Maybe one there. One there, yep, that looks good. What do they say? Blind man would be glad to see it. You still with me, ladies? Again, please accept my apologies for our technical glitch before. Life wasn't meant to be easy, hey? And it sure as hell isn't when our internet goes down. There, so that gives that a bit more balance over this side. We need to put our little bow in. So I'll just put a bit of glue on that. I love doing these little bows on projects. I think I use them on my scrapbook layouts, on cards, and on the little canvases. I mean, it just adds, doesn't it? Straight away, that little bow just sets that off. Now, a little bit more foliage. I will tear some of these, I'll bend them up a little bit, tear them in half. Where are we going to put them? So we're just about done. We're on the home run. Put a little bit in there. And a little bit in there. Time gets away. It takes longer than what you think it's going to. Sorry if I've held you up too long. I just saw the time and went, oh, I didn't mean to go this long. I thought this would take about 40 minutes. Best laid plans. Okay, and I think we need a little bit of foliage out there. So I'm just going to tear that in half. Crease them up. I hope you're enjoying your project, my project today. I hope you like it. I think that's, and then I cut that off one of the papers out of the, what is it, Nathalie? It's the Black, White and Aqua collection. Is it Dolce or something? I can't remember, but that's what I cut it off. Natalie will know. And then that little guy just went in the middle there. Oh man, that's so pretty. Now, that would make a really nice gift to somebody, wouldn't it? I mean, really, who wouldn't be happy to get something like that? So that's pretty much it. As I say, over on my blog, I have got a post on this, and I've listed a full product list, although Nathalie from Prima has probably been giving you product codes as we've gone along. Yeah, so if you remember to, thanks girls, give me some love, tell me what you think. If you don't, I hope you like the project. Remember to follow Prima on all the social media, Instagram. They've got a great page that you can participate in, Create with Prima. It's a group where you can show all your projects that you've made with the Prima product. Over on their blog, they always have so much great content. And remember to follow me if you don't already. My blog is called Di's Creative Space, although you only have to Google Di Garling blog and you'll find me. I'm under Di Garling on everything, Facebook, Instagram, whatever. I do teach scrapbooking. I do sell kits. This is my latest kit made with all beautiful Prima product and featuring my granddaughter. That's my latest kit that'll be going out next week. And this one, again, all beautiful Prima products. I mean, their stuff is so beautiful. You really can't go wrong. So they're my latest little things. And on that note, I'll probably say bye. And don't forget, leave me some love. Tell me what you think. And I will answer everybody's comments after the post. It's hard to do while I'm concentrating on what I'm doing. Oh, you know what I didn't add? I didn't add some of these gorgeous little beads. I won't stick them on now. I'll stick them on after the fact. But they're just little micro glass beads. And they look so lovely. You can see what I mean. When you sprinkle a few around, they just look so nice. I'll stick them on later. All right, well, on that note, thank you so much for joining me today. I hope I've informed you a little bit. Sorry for all our glitches, and I'll say bye for now. Bye.